The federal government inaugurated 2 transparency dashboards to monitor COVID-19 expenses and other responses in the country. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that the launch was done during the 61st Joint National Briefing of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 in Abuja. Speaking at the formal launch of the dashboards, the Secretary to Government of the Federation and Chairman PTF on COVID-19, Mr. Boss Mustafa, said both dashboards corroborate the task force focus on a data-driven response which they have consistently maintained from the onset. According to him, the first is the Incident and Response Tracker dashboard developed by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, and the second is the COVID-19 Resource Tracking dashboard developed by the United Nations Development Programme.
Similarly, transparency, governance, and accountability are core values of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. And since the inception of the task force, we have been committed to ensuring that Nigeria's COVID-19 response reflects these values, especially in the face of all the scrutiny, mis- and disinformation on the PTF activities. Since international best practices remain our hallmark, the PTF has been tracking donations and technical assistance received from individuals, groups, and various national and international organizations. These donations, alongside the disbursements across the Federation, have been documented and are now open for everyone to see through the activation of these dashboards, which are now accessible on the PTF website, which is www.statehouse.gov.ng/COVID-19/. The Presidential Task Force will ensure transparency of the coordinated efforts and interventions of government and other partners on the fight to contain the pandemic in Nigeria.
Speaking earlier in a virtual address, Chairman of the NESG, Mr. Asue Godalu, said that the NESG and the private sector are making history with the launch of the COVID-19 Incident and Response Tracker and Dashboard.
The NESG, in collaboration with the Africa Initiative for Governance AIG, designed the COVID-19 Incident and Response Tracker and Dashboard. The dashboard primarily reveals the resource requirements across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory to enable respective subnational governments, alongside the federal government and donors, identify needs and gaps that exist in 3 critical priority areas: testing, treatment and isolation, and contact tracing and tracking.
Also speaking, Mrs. Ofovwe Aigimokwidi of the Africa Initiative for Governance expressed pleasure in the partnership with the NESG and Nigeria Center for Disease Control towards the development of the Nigeria COVID-19 Incident and Response Tracker dashboard.
Nigeria faces similar challenges, which are made worse by the poor state of our public healthcare system and limited financial resources. Here in Nigeria, it is important that we review existing systems and take the opportunity to push forward for change so that we are more resilient and better prepared to handle this crisis and others that may come in future. The launch of the dashboard today marks a significant milestone in our country's response to the COVID-19 pandemic.